Let me just say, it is good to be with the National Association of Black Journalists, and I thank you for the work you do and that your members do every day.
You just heard the very beginning of former President Trump and Vice President Harris's responses to the first questions that they were asked by reporters from the National Association of Black Journalists. Harris spoke with the group today. The former president took questions back in July. Let's dig into this a bit further with Mara Gillespie and Haima Moore. Mara formerly served as an advisor to former Republican House Speaker John Boehner and former Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Haima formerly served as the director for the Office of the Democratic National Committee Chair. And thanks to both of you for being here. Obviously, kind of a different vibe for both Harris and Trump before NABJ. But Mara, I want to start with you because I know Republicans in particular have been very critical of the vice president for not doing enough interviews today. She sat down with 3.
Yeah, she don't do enough interviews. That's a damn problem with her. She really is avoiding the press. And this is the opportunity to get your voice out there. Get who you are out there. Everybody know the hell you are and what you going for. And don't be just, because you look like them.
Journalist from NABJ. Is this enough to kind of quell that criticism? And did she meet the mark?
I think that you're going to see that criticism continue because it is low-hanging fruit for a lot of Republicans to use that as a target about.
But it's a fact. It ain't like they making it up. If they were making it up, they couldn't use it. But they can use it because she really is avoiding the press.
She's been avoiding the press. She ran for X number of weeks and didn't talk to the press. But I think that her ability to hit back by doing well and not getting flustered will serve her well.
And she gets flustered. She's nervous as hell whenever she's asked a question that she wasn't expecting. She reverts back to something that she's familiar with, which is another speech, and she repeat it and throw it in there as a defense mechanism. But hell no. She ain't maintaining no confidence because she's not a confident candidate because she's hiding something. And that's what I'm here to uncover. And I'm going to expose it to you guys when I do. She's hiding something. Y'all don't see it. And I'm going to show it to you later on. You'll see what I'm talking about. I ain't put my finger on it, but I'm going to show you that she's hiding something. I know the signs.
In the weeks leading up to November, but I don't think they're going to stop hearing that criticism from Republicans that she has largely avoided it because of the fear of making a misstep, any major gaps because of her past and previous experiences with the press and with doing one-on-one interviews. So while they have a reason to doubt her, I think thus far probably coming up a little empty there.
And Haima, during this discussion today in Philadelphia, and our Ed O'Keefe was there and brought this up, the vice president also addressed the controversial situation right now in Springfield, Illinois. Let's take a listen to her response there.
It's a crying shame, literally. What's happening to those families, those children in that community, not to mention what is happening in terms of, look, you say you care about law enforcement resources being put into this because of these serious threats that are being issued against a community that is living a productive, good life before this happened.
No, actually, they weren't living a productive, good life. They're immigrants that you let into the country, a part of all those millions of immigrants that you let in. This is a part of it. It ain't a good thing if you live in a community of 58,000 people and 20,000 immigrants get dumped in your community. I don't give a damn. People be like, oh, that's mess. It's fucked up. But it's her problem. She made that error. She made that mistake. She was the border czar. She was over immigration and all that stuff. There is no reason for those people to be discriminated and treated fucked up, but you put them in a white community, you put them in a white ass area in a racist ass nation, what you think gonna happen? She's in JD Vance's part of the country. He ain't playing that shit. He protecting his white people. That's what the fuck they do. They protect white people. They protect their folks. And you looking like us and you ain't protecting us. And you ain't protecting immigrants. You just stuck them. Why would you put them there? You should have put them probably in California somewhere. They might have fit in a little better. But you can't be putting them in 58,000 people in that town. And you drop a bunch of immigrants in there. There's 20,000 of them. You know that ain't gonna be good. And then you expect us to blame Donald Trump for making some racist ass fucking comment that racist ass white people do? And you probably been in them circles for all. I'm starting to be very suspicious of you, Kamala. But y'all gotta give me that. Come on, folks. Am I tripping? Am I tripping? This lady is straight not not comfortable being black. She is not comfortable in her skin. She's always doing some sneaky shit. And we need to point it out. We can't let this continue. Absolutely not.
And obviously, we know, and I just got back from Springfield, there have been a number of bomb threats there, all based on these debunked claims about Haitian migrants. In terms of Democrats, how are they trying to counter?
I think they let 100,000 Haitians in. I think it might have been less than 100,000, but I know there was a finite number on it. It was 100,000, I want to say. But the problem is there ain't no goddamn finite number on the other ones. The Venezuelans and the Mexicans that's what I'm saying. Well, how do you put a finite cap on them? And it's easy to track because they black. You could catch their ass up. You can count them a little easier, I guess. Or depending if you dump 20,000 of them in a particular place, maybe that's so you could monitor them and watch them. Or once you let them in the country, can they go where they want? I don't know how that works. But it just seemed really weird to me that everybody's so up in arms about a claim from Donald Trump talking about some black. Now all of a sudden we're protecting black people again. You ain't even got black people on your goddamn agenda. We ain't even on your agenda, and you trying to pull that race card black shit for some Haitians because Trump said they eating cats and dogs and geese. And I'm going to share a little story with y'all. And I'm not embarrassed, but when we was kids, man, my uncle and my dad and my little brother and me was fishing at Castaic Lake. My my uncle, he's still alive too. My uncle was the sheriff up there in LA County Sheriff, so he let us into the lake when it was closed, and we locked them big old swinging yellow arms behind us, and we was out in the boat. And we wasn't catching shit. Night fishing when you ain't even supposed to be in the lake, going to all the hot spots, catching nothing, chumming, throwing food all off the side of the boat, nothing. So my uncle and my dad took our sandwiches and took the bread off and started right when we was there all night, sun coming up. They start fishing for the geese and the ducks, and I think we caught about 3 geese and 2 ducks, and we stuffed them in these big old coolers, and they was popping the cooler top back open, so me and my brother had to sit on it all the way home. And then we get home, and these animals are still cool. We wasn't far. My uncle lived up that way, and we let the geese and the ducks out, and me and my brother in the backyard playing with them. They running up to us, we chasing them, they chasing us. Just a fun time. Cold, it's early in the morning, and we go in to take showers and clean up and everything, and my dad's like, y'all better get some sleep. Y'all been up. And we take some now. We get up to the house smelling. Go, what are they cooking? They cook the geese and the ducks. So it maybe it's something poor people do. Maybe it's something that hunters do. I don't know. My parents, it wasn't no thing. They chopping them up and shit. And we was eating them. So what is this? And when they told us, we was like, remember us all looking at each other. I just don't feel the same. But I'm not saying that it's a real thing. I wasn't even shocked when Trump said that shit. I was laughing to myself like, yeah, but cats and dogs. Yeah, I never had a cat, never had a dog or anything. I never been around that kind of a culture. But yeah, geese in a lake, and yeah, if you real poor or if that's what you eat, yeah, I can see somebody trying to get the geese and eat them. But that's still no excuse for Kamala Harris to have let all these immigrants in. And then hold it against who? Trump for making a racist ass statement? He done made racist ass statements his whole life probably. I don't know. But it's just weird to me how America works. He's never signed a bill that's locked up a generation of black people. But he's in the middle of the news right now for making a racist statement during a debate. And I'm going to tell you guys something. if they have been fishing geese or ducks out of that pond, and what Donald Trump has probably leaned on the side of racism, included people's pets and all that shit. I don't know, or they might be. I don't know. I don't know, but you know, you might be kind of accepting it because you might have a favor for the other candidate, and if that's it, then you know we need to all get away from that bullshit. Him and her both gonna have their election. They gonna do their thing. If Trump wins, it's not gonna help me. If Kamala Harris wins, it's not gonna help me. Some people think, you just anti-Kamala. Hell no, I'm not. But I feel that because she looked like us and because she's used us to get as far as she can go, she can get on a debate stage and call what her opponent is saying racist tropes. Well, if she was a white woman, she couldn't say that. So you have an advantage. You have advantages, and you're not paying back anything. You're just taking advantage of being able to say, I can't believe he's so racist. Racist tropes and racist. I've been hearing a lot of that out of you lately. And it seems like the more you start doing that, your support from the black community is dropping. It seemed like it is to me. Mine is. I thought it was an all-time low, and it's worse than I thought. You are using our race for Haitians that you let in, for you that Biden let in, and not us, who the white people brought in. That's who you need to be backing up, us, with those racist tropes.
If you will, in terms of what we're hearing from the former president and J.D. Vance.
Yeah, Nicole, thank you for having me. And I just want to say that Jaron, Tanya, and Eugene did a great job today in Philadelphia. I think the vice president is leading the messaging on this. You're going to hear this from a lot of Democrats. It's very, very unsafe for a lot of families for President Trump and J.D. Vance.
The government should go in and protect the damn immigrants. You put them in a bad place. You put them in a community of people who are already figured out their lives, who already had their shit right. And she's sitting here talking like, they're just, everything was so good, was it? Is it something that we don't know? Is there a corporation or a company in that area that hired those Haitians and or provided for them? Are they really chilling like you sound like they chilling? Because if they're newly arriving immigrants and they're living under a roof, they're doing better than some black people who was born in this country and have a lineage in this country. So I don't feel too good about you saying that. I don't care if they are Haitians and they black. They in the United States of America, and we need to quit letting people cut us in line. We need to quit letting people like you, Kamala, put people in front of us. How the Haitians eating cats is the top story, but the black people getting their reparations, nobody ain't talking about it. It ain't even on your agenda. And I bet you guys are going to provide for those Haitians. Y'all going to make it right and do what you got to do, because you know you put them in a messed up place, unless it's a company there that hired a bunch of them, and then they do have roots or a place to be there. Which is still messed up. Well, what's wrong with the people in that area? Are the people not wanting those jobs? What kind of jobs are they? Do you guys ever think of lowering your prison population and maybe getting some black men who are locked up for the rest of their life into some kind of work release that they can get out? Because you know, like, you locked them up just because they black, and you know they only got locked up because they had no opportunities except to break the goddamn law. When it come down to sitting in a corner and watching your children die of starvation one by one, and your wife and your damn self, you're going to go sell drugs, you're going to go steal shit, you're going to go find a way to break laws that's going to bring money into your house. But if you're given an opportunity at some decent goddamn education, why would you do that? Why would you be out there scratching the back off of a credit card or busting a window open and risking your freedom when you have something to be free for? Our shit ain't even worth being free for in some cases for some of these young black guys and older black guys and black guys in my age group who haven't seen the streets since they was in their teens or 20s. That's fucked up. And all y'all want to do is bring in some immigrants and replace them. That's just fucked up behind the desk kind of thinking, and not really being down there on the street and understanding what people are going through, and trying to use Trump's fucked up ass dumb thought process to make headline news. And you really need to be doing something to them people that you brought into this country and put them in a bad situation. I don't know many communities in the United States that you can take 20,000 people from another country and dump in there and it's going to work out completely well. You know, I hadn't heard anything until Trump said that, but maybe it's a blessing if he's bringing some attention to a issue that may have been going on there. Maybe those people were being discriminated against in that town. But you are the goddamn reason they're in the town in the first place, and you gonna sit up there and not say that? The originator, see, that's the goddamn problem. When you are the originator of the problem. When Trump was in office 4 years ago, just 4 short years ago, those people weren't in that town. And then you took coming off. How you think those people, you think those 58,000 votes you're gonna get? There's no way you can get those 58,000 votes. It makes no sense. You ruined their lives. They're like, fuck. Our back property values and theft and all kind of shit must be up because you just let in a bunch of people from another country. That ain't right. That ain't right.
To talk about these sort of things. I mean, there was a Haitian immigrant on TV today that talked about that her kids could not go to school because they were so afraid to go to school.
They're registered in school, though. I mean, isn't that nice? You just got to America and shit. You know, but you registered in school. And it's very, very bad to have your education and your life interrupted. But that's what happens when people at the top make fucked up ass decisions. Bring you in, dump you in a community, piss everybody off in the town. America racist as fuck. You not only black, but you from another country. Just come on, man. And then you expect this shit to go well? That's just messed up. And they put a limited amount on them that can come in. So 20,000 of them is in Springfield. Where are the other ones? I'm going to have to start looking for them. It might be in my town. Shit, what are you guys doing up there, Kamala?
That's something that we shouldn't have to talk about it in America. We've all been there. We've been through Jim Crow.
We still in Jim Crow. It has not ended. Has not ended. Do not let them keep telling you that. I see the danger. I didn't see that shit at first. If they keep telling you something, you start repeating that shit and then it becomes the truth. This we don't need no reparations out of black people's mouth. Gotta start, just put your hand on their goddamn mouth. Shut up. Don't say it. Don't speak that shit into existence. Do not give away what our ancestors worked so hard so we even hear above ground. Don't get that shit away. Don't let the oppressor do that to us and just live their multi-billion-dollar lives while we still incorporate the downtown areas of all these inner cities and shit. Hell nah. Hell nah. You might as well just take yourself and move yourself from the planet if you feel like that. Because we have to have something to be here for. And we can't let people like Kamala Harris be a leader for us. We can't let Al Sharpton be a leader for us. And then this dude right here get on, and he ain't nothing but a traffic marker. He's just pointing in a direction for you to go. And then we ain't buying that shit either. At all. Shit, no.
We've been through Asian hate. We've been through Islamophobia and all these different things that are trying to divide us. And so I think the Democrats are going to try to talk about bringing us together while also talking about the rhetoric that they believe President Trump and J.D. Vance have perpetuated.
While they dump immigrants in people's cities. I'd rather, let's say Kamala and her crew didn't dump immigrants into the United States. None. No immigrants in. And then J.D. Vance and them went around and just made all kind of comments like that. They'd be like, what are they talking about? Then they'd look like straight out wing nuts. What are these dudes talking about? There ain't even no immigrants in this country. No more than it was. But it is a significant increase in migrants. Asylum seekers, illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call them. But if we don't have laws, do you guys realize just a short while ago, and I'm saying that because it was the last administration when Trump was in office and Kamala was doing her own little thing trying to run for president. Y'all don't remember when she was cool with illegal immigrants not being called illegal immigrants? There should be, no person can be illegal. If you're in a country you don't fucking belong in, you're illegal. I don't think I could just walk in France and they'd be like, hey, what's up, man? Ain't nothing. You know, you asking about, hey, man, you don't know nothing. Are you supposed to be here? Yeah, no, everybody got goddamn laws. You're going to end up with some authorities. The United States is like, just gave the fuck up, or it's part of their plan. And if it is, they need to tell us so we understand, so that we don't think that her policy on the border was so weak. But her policy on the border wasn't that weak. Her policy on the border was just what they told her to do. You open the door. You open the door, people are going to come through it. If her order was to close the door, she would have closed the door and no people would have come through. It's that goddamn simple.
And Maura, I also want to ask you about this issue as well, because J.D. Vance also continues to double down on these false claims.
And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know J.D. Vance. I never heard his name before. Until Trump picked him as his VP. And when he did, because he's supposed to be the controversial figure and it was against Trump at one time and all of those things. But once he picked J.D. Vance, I was like, wow, who is this guy? And everybody's talking about what a liar and a racist he is too. They better hope he ain't lying. Because the only credible things that are coming out to us, the public, and in the major press is the city manager, I think the chief of police, and somebody else in that town who's like a high-ranking official. Well, if I was the mayor of a town and somebody come to me and say, hey, I hear these migrants are eating the pets, I'd be like, no, that's not true. Oh, don't know. I would deny it. As a public, I wouldn't want my name of my city associated with that. So I would probably deny it, even if I'd heard rumors, or maybe even I'd had facts to go on. I probably just said, nah, that shit didn't happen here. They're lying on us. We wouldn't eat no pets, or neither would our immigrants. But I just feel like that's not, we're not getting all the truth from either side. I believe Trump went way out there and made it ridiculous when he could have said they're going to the local parks and fishing the geese or the ducks out. That might have been more believable. But when then people are missing their pets, then he's going into like clowning them and going to, that's ridiculous. He shouldn't have went there with it. And I think we'd be talking about this a little differently. But Kamala needs to go to the root cause of the problem. When they talk about why is Trump making these comments about these Haitians over there, everybody's trying to cover up what Kamala did by saying, see, they treating the black immigrants, but no, it's got nothing to do with it. It does have something to do with that. I'm sorry, but the reason that they're there is because of Kamala. Let's just admit that, and then we can go into the racism that she knew they was going to be met with when they came into the United States. What did she think was going to happen? She knew goddamn well wherever you put them poor people, there's going to be some problems. And then you drop them in Springfield. Whew. Boy, I tell you.
And did so again today at an event in Michigan. While I was in Ohio, had the opportunity to speak with Governor Mike DeWine one-on-one. Let's take a little bit of a listen to that conversation. Have you reached out directly to J.D. Vance about his comment?
No.
Do you intend to?
No.
Yeah, because he probably know J.D. Vance ain't lying, or J.D. Vance got some facts that he'll hit him with, and he won't be able to just tell him, hey, you need to knock that off. And he just hit him, you told me, and he'll be like, oh, shit. Why would you not even want to talk to him? Motherfucker, quit saying that shit. You're an elected official. You're running for VP. Nah, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. J.D. Vance got some facts, maybe. He might not. But either way, how did the 20,000 Haitians get to Springfield? Because we opened the door and let them in. The Biden-Harris administration. Let's accept that fact. And then let's get her to start saying that shit. And quit trying to act like they just wandered around and ended up there. They didn't. It no coincidence.
Why not?
Well, look, I watched what he said. You've heard what I had to say about that.
So you're okay with him continuing to perpetuate these claims?
Look, I don't speak for him. He's got to run his own campaign.
Yeah, I'm starting to think J.D. Vance might have some facts mixed in with that bullshit.
Donald Trump has to run his campaign. Vice President has to run her campaign. I'm not running for president. I'm governor of Ohio. I'm concerned about Springfield. I'm concerned about the state of Ohio.
So I'm curious what you make of his response, particularly because the governor has been very outspoken on this, calling these debunked claims garbage, yet at the same time, he's not going to tell J.D. Vance to stop making them.
I think it's honestly with Ohio, and he's walking a fine line, but he's also doing his job. He's looking out for the people of Springfield because those are his constituents as governor. And yes, J.D. Vance was the senator, or still is the senator, but J.D. Vance is on his own trajectory. And I think what the governor of Ohio is saying here is, I'm focused on what's happening in Springfield because it's not okay. And he has made it very clear. And the responsibility at the end of the day falls on J.D. Vance. And
unless he's telling the truth. Everybody's saying he's a liar. And it's, like I said, city officials are saying he's not. He's lying on us. Our city is not. But maybe they have something to hide. Maybe, it's more to it. Someone mentioning 911 calls. Dig them up. Let's see what's going on.
Falls on Donald Trump for continuing this conspiracy theory that is hurting a community of people who have
been led in the country by our current seated vice president, who can be easily pulled aside and interviewed about this shit. But every time we have an interview, we scared to answer that shit because she's going where there's friendly fire. She needs to go walk through she got to go in there and sit with Fox. Obama did. You just have to do it. And that's why your shit got to be solid. You can't be just running for vice president and you ain't got your shit together. I don't know, man.
Not only have they added numbers to jobs there, but they've also added numbers to the churches. And if for the MAGA far right wing who purports to be true Christians, shouldn't you be glad to see that this community where a lot of the churches there, CBS did the story on it, where they saw numbers declining and couldn't get people to come back into the doors. And then the Haitian migrants came in and contribute to the churches. They're part of the community, and to demonize them in any way because of a story that he saw on the internet is just a dangerous, slippery slope that we are seeing so many people fall down, and it's coming from hate. And at the end of the day, we as a society cannot operate if we continually come from hate and fear. It's destructive.
And Nicole, look, I'll add to this. If you've noticed a pattern here, so the governor of Georgia, governor of Texas, governor now of Ohio, Republican governors refuse to get behind some of these claims that have been made by President Trump and J.D. Vance. And so they're putting their own people in a place where they had to play political gymnastics. These governors want to care for their people, but Donald Trump and J.D. Vance keep putting crazy topics on the table.
I also want to talk to you, Jaime, about some new polls out today from USA Today and Suffolk University that show Vice President Harris now leading the former president in the state of Pennsylvania, as well as two critical bellwether counties. It seems the common denominator there is potentially among female voters, but just want to get your take there on those new numbers because we know that race is extremely tight.
Look, Nicole, we talked about this before. Pennsylvania is a must-win state for Kamala Harris, and she
don't win Pennsylvania. It's a wrap. She really need to win Pennsylvania because that's the biggest amount of delegates of the swing states that they're fighting over here, and she ain't. I don't think she's gonna win it, but
knows that. If you recognize where she's been in Pennsylvania 12 times,
and North Carolina 17, 18, 19 times
just this year. And so some of the counties that I really want to watch, Allegheny County, Erie County, Chester County, Lehigh, Berks, those counties are going to really show where she stands and where Donald Trump stands. And so I do think that these numbers are real. I do think that
black counties, they call them black counties out when it comes to Kamala because the swing states are very important to her. North Carolina, Wilmington area, Georgia, Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And Pennsylvania, of course, with its black folks in Philly and those spots. They know what's up. She know what she doing. And she's losing the black vote. That's what they don't want to talk about, y'all. The black vote she's hemorrhaging the black vote. Black people are really tripping because every time she give her interview, if you watch the news, and if you don't, watch me. I'll bring it to you. She is hemorrhaging the black vote. It's pouring out at a rate that they wish it wouldn't. And then nothing they can do about it. Because she cannot commit to what black people want her to commit to. So she got to sit there and keep answering reparations questions with the opportunity economy. That's not the answer for reparations. You can't take a handicapped person and make them whole and make them even with the rest of society. We've been handicapped by opening the floodgates and making everything fair for everybody and equal, and it still isn't going to be. We know the racism that we deal with. You are the presidential candidate for the Democrats, for the United States of America, Kamala. And you are crying racism, but we can't. That's my biggest argument with you. You could cry it, but we can't. And when we do, it must not mean anything, because you are telling us that your opportunity economy is going to fix everything. I'm glad I don't trust you.
I do think there are a lot of things that are happening in Pennsylvania and around the country and other states as well. I've traveled over the last few weeks. It's sort of like 2008 when you see non-traditional Democratic voters wearing Harris Walls merch. That camouflage hat is everywhere in Pennsylvania. And so I do think that she's taking it very seriously. These numbers are real.
And he black. He telling them they're everywhere. And he's talking about in the black areas. Because that's important to them. That they get some black guy who can go down there and peep things out. Even do some polling. And it's no doubt in most black areas, she's going to win. But it better be in the 70s, at least the mid 70s. Word on the street is she's slipping down into the mid to high 60s. And I believe it. I think black people are becoming a little more clear-headed and paying attention. Some people coming into this was probably like Kamala, and even being offended because of our upbringing and the way we've been taught and the way we've been brought into the Democratic Party. And just like the Baptist Church, could you guys imagine changing religions? That's the equivalent, because that's all we've ever known. So we don't know no different. And then when you get people like Kamala Harris, it has to wake one up. Like, whoa, wait a minute. T.D. Jakes. You know what I'm saying? We need to start looking at our religious leaders and our politicians and making better decisions for ourselves. Because our parents, they weren't given the best tools and education and information and freedom to give us everything that we needed. So we got to push hard, and especially don't pass a lot of that stuff on to our children. We need to educate our children differently than we were.
But we'll see how much they hold. But those bellwether counties are going to be really important for her.
All right, Jaime Moore, Maura Gillespie, thanks as always for joining us.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, Kamala is in a place, you guys. Her shit is dropping with black people, man. And her shit is dropping with white people. Don't nobody like her. She ain't likable. The people who like her the most are the people that hate Trump the most. It's almost, that's the only...
Well, I don't think I've ever been asked the question.
Her biggest support is straight out, Donald Trump is a horrible person. I hate Donald Trump. You know what? I don't give a fuck. I done met a lot of people who I didn't like. But you know what I do? I do me. I don't have time to keep being yang because they get old. You get old and you lose your own self in some bullshit. It makes no sense. She's the VP. She trying to step into that presidency. She cannot continue to use us like that and not expect to bring us along. And she has no intention. Her last interview today, zero. They asked that one of them. She in a room full of black people with 3 black journalists. And don't nobody speak out of turn. Don't nobody jump up, or one of those journalists keep a loaded, fuck, I know you're going to get fired. You know you're going to get fired. And she know you're going to get fired. But you know what? Somebody going to hire you. Start your own shit. I don't care. Somebody need to say in her face what they keep telling us not to. Why don't you have support for the black community? And then when she answers, she's going to talk about her opportunity zones, because somebody answered her a watered down question like that, and she talked about the opportunity zones and open and freedom and access to her economy by everyone. And that's how I'm going to address the black race. Bullshit. No, you're not. That's not the way that for us to be addressed. And I don't care if your opportunity economy works 100% like you say it is. That just means everybody else going to be here and we going to be here. It doesn't change shit. And you not trying to change shit, because you said also in that interview today something about, and this is the sickest part about, to me, you are like Obama when it comes to white people in this country. You're worried about their comfort level more than you are about our progress. It needs to be. Oh yeah, they asked you about the reparations. You talking about a study? If a black person is a real black person, the last thing we need is a goddamn study. We know fucking well that's some white people shit. I walk up to a black guy, hey man, what do you think about reparations? Well, we need to do a study. They'll sock your ass, a black man talking about we need a study. Get the fuck out of there. We need no goddamn study. Shit. Give us a whole bunch of money and then give us the rest later. Well, how you know that ain't enough? It ain't. Just give us some goddamn money and then later on come back with the rest. Because it is not going to be enough. You can't overpay us. You cannot fuck that up. You can't. You could make us tax exempt and give us $1 million each and we still wouldn't be overpaid. And if we were, then I'd like to find the race who would like to sit down and visit me in my time machine and you get to go back and walk that walk. And I bet your ass to take your shit and shut up because you guys have it really good. White people have never been targeted in this country. White people have never been abused, enslaved. So don't speak on what the enslaved and don't speak on it. Just pay us. That's it. And these little broadcasters and folks on here lying and protecting. If you work for somebody and they need access to Kamala Harris and she tells them, I'll give you access, that means on her terms. If you got some clout and some weight, right now they got her. If I wouldn't be bargaining shit with her. If she want to come on my network, I'd be like, yeah, you can come. She'll be like, but I don't want them to ask me this. No, we asking you any goddamn thing we want. And if you say you don't want to come here, then don't. We'll do a story on that shit. But everybody need to stop playing and just bring her on and like Trump. They ask Trump some shit. If he don't want to answer it, he do like her. Answer some other shit. But for the most part, she needs to start sitting so we can see you lying. We know he's a liar. Every goddamn time he sit down with somebody, he lying like a motherfucker. And she's doing the same thing. But you guys are so, I guess, incensed about Trump and how he, I guess you guys say, tore the country apart. I don't know. If it wasn't for COVID, he had the end of COVID. I mean, he had the beginning of COVID and they had the end of it. And it was not the best managed or what you would expect, for something like that to hit a country like us. We should be well more informed and prepared, and we weren't. And that should touch a lot of different levels. And our government that doesn't get elected every 4 years. Our government that should be in place to protect us year in and year out, no matter what happens. We exchanged the Congress and the presidents, and but there's a part of the country that has to be solid, and I don't think either side's been taking care of that. That's how I feel about it. But like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.